The law offices of Spar Bernstein with 2 locations in New York, 2901 White Plains Road in the Bronx and 225 Broadway in Manhattan. Call now to make appointments at
1-800-LAWLESS.
Hello, caller. The final caller right here. We got Esther in the building, the investor, coined by Mr. Bernstein.
I love that name.
Yeah, love that name. And of course, we got Mr. Hubby also in the building.
Did she just get remarried again?
Remarried?
To the same person?
Is the term?
Is that how it works?
Is the term remarried?
Is that how it works?
Come on, Esther, because the term is not remarried.
She didn't get remarried again.
It's called renewal.
Renewal
of vows.
Renewal
How
of the
long
vows.
have you been married now?
We've been married 16 years on paper, but we've lived together 10 years
Wow.
before.
So it's 26
years.
years.
Now, let me ask you a question. Did you remember your vows from the first time around?
Of course.
Was this the similar vows or new vows?
They were new vows.
New vows.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
How do you manage? I'm sorry, maybe this is completely out of character for me. How do you manage to keep your toes so pretty?
It's a lot of work.
It's high maintenance.
It is a lot of work.
Very high maintenance.
Completely out of character. That has nothing to do with the show.
What are you looking at Esther's toes for anyway?
And her husband is standing right out there.
That's right.
Anyway, Esther, the investor, is in the building. We're going to be talking with her. We got one more call right here. Hello, caller. How you doing?
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, we're talking about pretty toes, immigration, Georgia, Florida properties.
Right, interest rates going up.
Newspaper.
Well, no, not going up, steady at 6%. But we were saying what
They're
would be
going
the
up.
cost difference between 7.5% and
Right,
6.
immigration
I think a lot
like
of people would be surprised to see how much money they save.
Right.
Okay.
But I think you want immigration, right?
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Yes.
All right. What is it?
Okay, I'm gonna get married to an American citizen,
Mm-hmm.
but I have 3 kids in Jamaica. The eldest one is 18.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know if she will get through.
No. The
No?
only if you marry a U.S. citizen, the U.S. citizen can only file for you, obviously, as the spouse, and any children under the age of 18 at the date of your marriage. So the children under 18 on the day you say I do and say your vows, those are the children that the U.S. citizen can file for on separate petitions as a stepdad. The
Okay.
18-year-old, unfortunately, cannot be filed in the initial package of applications. After you get your green card, you can turn around as the permanent resident mom and file for that 18-year-old.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, Brad, I got one question that I got to
Yes.
ask on behalf of a lot of people.
Yes.
I need a yes or no answer.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I am here in the United States of America illegally. I do, however, some of us are illegal. Some of us are not illegal, but we've been incarcerated. We've had convictions. And right now, we can't file for a citizenship. Okay? We can't do none of that. So it's 2 sets of people I'm talking about. The ones who are illegal, the ones who have been incarcerated, they have convictions. Okay, so they got issues. Okay. But we do have a solid piece of ID, such as a passport, such as a driver's license, such as maybe even Social Security. But let's leave off the Social Security. We decided that we want to go to Hawaii. We want to go to Puerto Rico. We want to go to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Will we have problems?
U.S. Virgin Islands, yes.
Okay. So forget about the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Forget about the U.S. Virgin Islands. Because you go to St. Thomas, for example.
Right.
Okay, immigration is doing pre-inspections on the plane, on your planes as you come back from the U.S. Virgin
Right.
Islands.
Right.
So even though you never left the United States,
Right.
immigration, it's a border
Still.
crossing, is there and inspecting people.
So boom. So
Okay.
So by the way,
Puerto
folks,
Rico-
U.S. out of the loop.
Right.
Okay. Puerto Rico.
It's like going to Florida. Hawaii, it's like going to Florida. I've never been to Hawaii, but I don't see any
Right.
problem.
I've been to Puerto Rico and I just
Right.
used my driver's license.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Because you're flying domestically.
Okay. So I just wanted to know that. Okay.
Yeah, but when you go to St. Thomas,
You get screwed.
you get screwed because immigration. It's like when you go to the Bahamas. You've been to the Bahamas before. You know how immigration pre-inspects you as you leave the Bahamas, coming back to
Right,
America.
right.
It's not like you come back into America and there's immigration.
Do you know they do pre-inspection in Jamaica now?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, they're doing that now.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah,
Boy,
pre-inspection.
they're stopping you before you even get
Yeah.
on the airplane.
Immigration. You see immigration before you get on the damn plane.
It's crazy.
Anyway, listen up, man. Stop.
I didn't know that. Well, how long has that been going on? It's the first I've heard
Almost
that.
a year.
Really?
Yeah. Almost a year. You haven't been there that long, huh?
No.
All right, Brad. Thank you so much. Get out. I'm just
Bye.
kidding, man. Anyway, thank you so much, Brad Bernstein. We got Oswald and Sharon in the building. We're not taking any more immigration calls. However, if you want to set up an immigration appointment, people do remember the only immigration law firm you should be using is Spar and Bernstein. Call Sharon Oswald. They're setting up appointments right now. Brad will even stay back and set up some appointments. He will not answer any
Let me
questions.
ask you a
off
question.
air.
Who's your best friend?
You.
Okay. Just double check.
Anybody who asks me who's their best friend, I'll just say it.
It doesn't matter.
So if
Sean asked you,
if
Esther,
Esther walks in there, who's the best? I'm gonna
friend?
say
Esther.
yeah.
Esther. I'm
That's
your
always
best
the best answer to give.
I knew it. All these years, I knew it. You liar.
Oh man, hold on. That question, Scott, you got an answer for that question, right?
All I heard, and I'm calling to take exception to the fact that you say Brad is your best friend. Just last night, you told me that I was your best friend.
It just depends on who's closest to me, man.
No, it depends who's closest in time to having to write a check.
Is that how it works?
He's got me figured out.
That's how it works.
He's got me figured out.
I know that Brad's your best friend, and I accept that. I accept the secondary status that you take.
He's very sensitive. You are very sensitive. I never knew him to be as sensitive as he is right now.
But Brad asked. Let's just cut through all the pleasantries. Brad asked a question, okay, and the question is, and you got about 60 seconds to answer this. Brad is saying, what was the question you asked?
Question was, okay, because I heard earlier on Winner's Circle, 6% interest rates
Right.
now.
Mhm.
Let's say I got a house at 7.5%. I'm paying 7.5%. So I'm going to refinance down to 6%. I'm saving 1.5 points. How much is that real savings per $100,000 that I'm refinancing?
Approximately.
Approximately.
Well,
You know,
it
just
would
let's.
depend
I was just
upon
saying. I was just telling.
the
Squeeze-
larger.
I was just telling Squeeze. I said, "What's the real number in this savings?"
Generally, you would say for a rate and term refi, strictly just to pay off the existing entity, the existing loan, you would want to see a 2% difference in the rate that people currently have and the rate that they're paying off. However, we are not seeing very many rate and term refis. So you get somebody who's in a situation where they have a 7.5% first. They have a home equity line of credit, which is now between 9 and 10. They got a car loan at whatever rate, and they got credit cards, some of them at 30%. You put it all together, and it's very powerful, the savings.